Admiral Jinha stood at the window of his hidden office, 200 meters below the city. On his screen, he watched two blue-skinned aliens walk through a research lab on the surface. The aliens looked impressed by Earth's new solar panels. Jinha almost smiled. Humans had better technology over 50 years ago. Are they still believing our act? Jinha asked. Yes, Admiral, said Lieutenant Harin. The Galactic Council visitors think our solar panels are very advanced. This was the secret Earth had kept for 300 years. When aliens first found Earth, humans had already built ships that could cross the galaxy and weapons that could destroy moons. But they saw how the Galactic Council treated new civilizations not as equals, but as resources to use. So Earth's leaders made a plan. They would pretend to be less advanced, would hide their real technology. They would wait and prepare for the day when they might need to show their true power. Your technology is impressive for such a young species, said Zek, the tall blue alien. He held a computer chip that humans had shown him. Dr. Quan bowed slightly. Thank you. We are grateful for the Council's help. Without your guidance, we would be far behind where we are now. The chip was actually old technology by human standards. The real computers, ones that could think across multiple dimensions, were hidden deep underground or in bases on the dark side of the moon. You are good students, said Vala, the female alien with Zek. The Council is pleased with your progress. We hope to visit the stars like you someday, Quan said with a humble smile he had practiced for years. In time, Zek said in a way that suggested that time was far away. Your species is still young, you have much to learn. Quan nodded politely. Last year, he had led a secret mission to map star systems beyond what the Council had in their database. But the aliens must never know that. In his command center, Jinha watched the meeting. How much longer must we pretend? He asked. General Min stood beside him. As long as needed. Remember what happened to the Tyrillians? Jinha nodded. The Tyrillians were another young species who proudly showed their advanced technology. The Council called them dangerous and cut them off from space travel. Their world fell into poverty. Within years, I know, Jinha said, but it's hard to keep pretending. We have ships that could cross the galaxy in days, yet we act amazed by their slow ships. We have weapons that could end wars in minutes, yet we pretend to be impressed by their old defense systems. Patience, Min said. We've kept this secret. For 300 years, we can wait longer. And when will we stop waiting? Jinha asked. When we have no choice, Min answered. The real face of humanity stayed hidden where aliens never looked. Underground bases built ships with technology. Centuries beyond what Earth should have. Moon bases made weapons that could break planets. Asteroids became hidden weapon platforms that looked like normal space rocks. Heron walked through a massive underwater facility where workers built engines that could bend space itself. Unlike the basic technology shown to aliens, this place was filled with advanced machines. Screens floated in the air. Workers used tools controlled by thought. Is the new drive ready? Horan asked the lead engineer. Yes, the Phantom drive works perfectly. Alien scanners can't detect it at all. Good, Horan said. And our shields? They can block any weapon the Council has. They work in ways their science doesn't understand yet. Horan smiled. This was humanity's true face, not humble students, but masters of technology beyond their supposed teachers. Jinha returned to his surface home after dark. In public, he was Administrator Jinha, who managed city transportation, a normal, unimportant job as far as aliens knew. His wife, SEO Young, greeted him at the door. She studied alien biology while pretending to be a simple doctor. How was your day playing dumb? She asked with a smile. How tiring, Jinha sighed. We had to act excited about solar panels that children could build. They sat down for dinner prepared by invisible machines. Technology aliens thought was centuries beyond human ability. Any news about the Council? Jinha asked. Sioyan's face turned serious. Yes, the Arvani want more human children for their education programs. The Arvani were blue-skinned aliens who thought they were better than all other species. They had been taking small groups of human children to their world. How many children have they taken? Jinha asked. About 50 so far. Parents think their children are getting special education opportunities. Are the children safe? They seem well treated. But our spies can't see everything. The Arvani are doing some kind of genetic research on them. Out around his cup, find out what they're really doing. Above Earth, a massive alien ship moved into orbit. Inside, an Arvani leader named Gorith looked down at the planet. Human children have special brains, he told his science director. They learn and adapt faster than any species we've seen. Yes, the science director said. Their brains form new connections at amazing speeds. Even their adults keep some of this ability. What the humans didn't know was that the Arvani were dying out. After thousands of years of trying to make themselves perfect, they couldn't have many children anymore. But human DNA might save them. I want 1,000 human children brought to our research centers, Gorth ordered. The humans might not agree to so many, his helper said. Gorth waved his hand. They are primitive and grateful for our attention. They will do as we say, and if they refuse, then we'll make them understand they have no choice. The Council has ways to make developing worlds obey. In his command center, Jinha called an emergency meeting when the big ship arrived. The Arvani aren't here for cultural exchange, Hurin reported. They're taking genetic material from our children because their species is dying out. How many more children do they want? Jinha asked. 1,000 within a year. The room filled with angry voices. Jinha raised his hand for quiet. We've hidden our true power for centuries, he said. But if they threaten our children, we may need to drop our mask. General Quan spoke up. Are we ready to face the entire council if needed? Prepare our hidden fleets, Jinha ordered. Move our ships closer to Earth. Activate our defense systems. What about the children already with the Arvani? Hurin asked. Face hardened. Watch them closely. If any child is harmed, we will get them back. And if we can't do it quietly? Quan asked. Jinha looked at each person in the room. Then the galaxy will learn why it was a mistake to threaten human children. And they'll see what we've become while they weren't watching. 2 months after the big alien ship arrived, new buildings started to appear in cities around Earth. The Arvani called them advanced learning centers. They promised to teach human children about space, science, and alien cultures. Director Heron stood with a fake smile as Gorith, the Arvani leader, cut the ribbon on the newest center in Seoul. This facility will help your brightest young minds reach their full potential, Gorith said to the crowd of excited parents and children. The future of Earth depends on preparing the next generation. Haren clapped politely, though she knew the truth. These weren't schools. They were labs where the Arvani could study human children up close. Your generosity honors us, Haren said, for the cameras. In her mind, she was counting the security weaknesses in the building. To emergency exits. Guards who didn't watch the back hallway. Information she would pass to Earth's hidden forces later, in her real office. Deep underground, Hareen met with Admiral Jinha and the science team. We've confirmed why they want our children, she said, showing brain scans on the big screen. Human children's brains are special. They form new connections faster than any known species. Dr. Quan pointed to the images. The Arvani brains are more advanced in some ways, but they're fixed. They can't change or adapt quickly. Our children's brains are always growing and changing. Jinha studied the scans. And this matters to the Arvani because they're dying out, Haren explained. Their birth rates have fallen for centuries. Their children are born weak. They think human adaptability might save their species. How? Jinha asked. We're not sure yet. Maybe they want to copy our DNA. Maybe. They want to mix it with theirs. Either way, they're taking more children every week. Jinha's face darkened. Numbers. 300 so far? They're planning to take 1,000 by the end of the month. The room went quiet. Everyone knew what this meant. The Arvani were moving faster than expected. Parents are still giving permission? Jinha asked. Hari nodded. The Arvani offer amazing opportunities. Special education, trips to space, future jobs with the council. What parent wouldn't want that for their child? And the children who go, are they safe? For now. But our spies report that the Arvani are starting more invasive tests, taking bone marrow, spinal fluid, brain tissue samples. Jinha stood up suddenly. That crosses the line. We need to. An aide rushed into the room. Director Heron. Message from your home. Heron's hands shook as she read the message. The Arvani had visited her house while she was at work. They had evaluated her daughter Minji and found her exceptionally suited for their advanced program. They want to take my daughter tomorrow, Heron said, her voice barely steady. Jinha put his hand on her shoulder. We can stop this. The word, and we reveal ourselves now. Heron took a deep breath. As much as she wanted to protect her daughter, she knew Earth wasn't quite ready. Their fleet was strong, but not all defense systems were in place. No, I'll let them take her. Heron, I'll let them take her, she repeated, because I'm going to. As her mother, I have the right to accompany her for the first week. Their policy, Jinha understood. You'll be our eyes inside their main facility. Heron nodded. I'll have a subdermal transmitter. If they hurt Minji or any child, you'll know instantly. It's dangerous, Jinha warned. It's necessary, Heron replied. We need to know exactly what they're doing before we act. The next day, Heron smiled and thanked the Arvani representative who came to collect Minji. Her 8-year-old daughter was excited about visiting space. She didn't know her mother had placed a microscopic tracker under her skin, disguised as a simple vaccine. This is a great honor, Heron said to the blue alien. My daughter is very lucky. Indeed, the alien replied. Her brain scans show exceptional neural patterns. She will benefit greatly from our program. As they boarded the shuttle to the orbiting Arvani ship, Heron activated a hidden device in her watch. It sent a single encrypted message to Earth Defense Command. Phase 1, infiltration complete. On the Arvani ship, Heron was shocked by what she saw. Hundreds of human children moved through the halls, all wearing the same white uniforms. They looked healthy, but strangely quiet. Their normal childish energy was gone. Your daughter will join Learning Group 7, her guide explained, leading them to a large room where 20 children sat at desks. What will she learn? Heron asked. Advanced mathematics, xenobiology, spatial physics, subjects that will prepare her for future service to the Council. Heron noticed something strange. Each desk had a small device attached to it. When children placed their hands on the desks, the devices lit up. That night, while Minji slept in their quarters, Heron used a hidden scanner to analyze her daughter's body. What she found made her blood run cold. New nanomachines were in Minji's bloodstream, ones that weren't there before. Heron sent another crypted message. They're not just studying our children. They're changing them. Gorth stood in his private lab, looking at screens showing the brain activity of 50 human children. Each child was asleep in a special chamber that recorded their neural patterns. Remarkable, he said to his science. Director, even when sleeping, they create new neural pathways. No wonder their species advances so quickly despite their short lives. The integration is working better than expected, the science director replied. The nanomachines bond perfectly. With their nervous systems, than the Arvani children, the rejection rate was over 80%. In humans, it's less than 5%. How soon can we begin the next phase? Gorth asked. We need more subjects first. At least 1,000. Then we can start the full genetic extraction process. Gorth nodded. Speed up the collection. I want all 1,000 within 2 weeks? Some parents are starting to ask questions. They want more contact with their children. Deny their requests. Say it disrupts the learning process. If they persist, remind them of the benefits their families receive. And if they still refuse, Gorth's eyes narrowed. Out. Then take the children anyway. The Council has authorized whatever means necessary. This is about the survival of our species. Heron slipped away from her quarters while the ship was in its night cycle. Using access codes she'd secretly obtained, she entered a restricted area marked Primary Research. What she saw there made her freeze in horror. Rows of chambers held sleeping children. Machines extracted fluids from their bodies. Other machines injected substances back in. Heron quickly scanned the nearest computer terminal. The Arvani weren't just studying human children, they were harvesting stem cells, neural tissue, and genetic material to create hybrid embryos. They were trying to make new Arvani children with human adaptive abilities. With shaking hands, Heron sent her final message to Earth. Operation Awakening. Initiate Phase 2. It was time for humanity to stop playing dumb. General Quan was eating breakfast when his secure phone buzzed. The message was short. They took 3,000 children. Quan dropped his spoon and rushed to his car. As he drove to the hidden command center, he passed a coastal city where parents were screaming and crying outside a large building. The building had been an Arvani Advanced Learning Center yesterday. It was empty. During the night, all the children inside had been taken to space without warning their families. This was the breaking point. When Quan reached the underground base, Admiral Ginha was already there, his face like stone. They didn't even ask permission. This time, Ginha said. They just took them all. Where's Director Heron? Quan asked.
Still on their main ship with her daughter. Her last message came an hour ago. Ginha showed Quan a video on his screen. Haren's face looked tired and
scared. The Arvani are taking children from all centers worldwide. They're starting what they call final extraction. Some children from the first groups are not waking up after their procedures. We're out of time. Ginha turned to Quan. It's time. Activate Pandora Protocol. Quan took a deep breath. For his whole career, he had trained for this moment while hoping it would never come. He placed his hand on a scanner and spoke clearly. General Quan, authorization, Alpha 7 Delta. Activate Pandora Protocol. Red lights began to flash. Computerized voice spoke. Pandora Protocol activated. Defense grid coming online. All military units switched to true capability mode. First contact contingency is now in effect. Around the world, hidden things began to wake up. Under the oceans, massive doors opened in what had seemed like normal sea floor. Giant factories that had been hidden for centuries started building ships and weapons at incredible speed. In the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, rocks that looked empty to alien scanners opened to reveal huge weapon platforms. They powered up silently, aiming at preset coordinates. On Mars, the struggling human colony suddenly changed. What aliens had seen as simple habitats transformed as hidden sections appeared. Hangars opened in the sides of mountains, showing hundreds of warships ready to fly, and in homes and offices across Earth, regular people stopped pretending. Farmers opened hidden bunkers under their fields. Office workers activated military-grade computers in their walls. Teachers gathered their students into protected underground shelters. The mask that humanity had worn for 300 years was finally coming off. On the Arvani flagship, Heron held her sleeping daughter close. Out. What the aliens called a learning session, but Heron knew it was really more testing and sampling. The little girl was pale and weak. An alarm suddenly sounded through the ship. Heron looked out the small window of their room and saw Arvani running in the hallway. Something was happening. Her hidden communicator vibrated. The message read, "Hold position. Rescue coming. Hide if possible." Heron quickly gathered some blankets and made a small hiding place in the air vent of their room. She gently placed Minji inside. "Mommy has to do something important," she whispered. "Stay here and be very quiet until I come back or until you see other humans in Earth Defense uniforms, understand?" Minji nodded weakly. Heron kissed her forehead and closed the vent cover. Then she stepped into the hallway to find out what was happening. The Arvani flagship was preparing to leave Earth orbit with its precious cargo of human children. Gorth stood on the bridge, watching his crew work quickly. "Speed up departure," he ordered. "I don't care about proper exit protocols." "Sir, we're detecting unusual energy readings from Earth," an officer reported. "Ignore them," Gorth said. "The humans don't have technology that can threaten us. Once we're away from their system, we can complete our work without interference." Suddenly, all communication screens on the bridge activated at once. Admiral Jinha's face appeared on every screen. His voice was calm but firm. "Attention Arvani vessel. This is Admiral Jinha of Earth Defense Command. Return what you have taken. Have 1 hour. This is humanity's only warning." Gorath laughed. "Their defense command? They barely have spacecraft that can reach their own moon?" He pressed a button to respond. "This is Counselor Gorath. Your children are part of an authorized council education program. Return to your duties, Administrator Jinha, or whatever your title is. The council will not be threatened by a developing world." Jinha's face showed no emotion. 1 hour, he repeated.
Oh.
Then the screens went dark. "Send security vessels to pacify them if they try anything," Gorath ordered. A simple show of force should remind them of their place. 5 Arvani security ships moved toward Earth. Each one was heavily armed and could destroy a small city. To the Arvani, this was more than enough to handle any resistance from a planet that had only recently learned to split atoms. As the ships entered Earth's upper atmosphere, their sensors detected nothing unusual, no primitive Earth weapons rising to meet them, no defensive measures at all. The lead ship's captain smiled. They're not even trying to fight. Smart of them to recognize superior force. Then space itself seemed to tear open beside them, where empty space had been seconds before. A massive human warship now floated. It was 3 times larger than the biggest Arvani vessel. Its dark hull absorbed light rather than reflecting it. No engine glow was visible, yet it moved with impossible speed. Before the Arvani could react, similar space tears opened all around Earth. Dozens, then hundreds of warships appeared from nowhere. They had been hiding in another dimension, invisible to all Arvani's sensors. On the flagship, Gorath stared at his screens in shock. Impossible. They're a pre-council civilization. They can't have dimensional shift technology. His science director looked equally stunned. "Sir, their ships have no drive signatures we can detect. They're using hull materials unknown to our science." The largest human ship moved alongside the Arvani flagship. It was so close that people on both ships could see each other through. Viewports? The human vessel dwarfed the alien ship like an adult next to a child. Every communication device in the Arvani fleet activated at once. Admiral Jinha's voice was heard by all. "For 3 centuries, we studied you while you thought. You studied us. We know your weapons. We know your shields. We know every weakness in your ships. Turn our children now, and we might let you leave." As if to prove his point, targeting systems on all human ships locked onto vital areas of the Arvani vessels. The security ships found themselves each facing 10 human warships with weapons. They couldn't even identify. Humanity had finally stopped playing dumb. The galaxy was about to learn what they had become. Gorath stared at the screens, showing hundreds of human warships surrounding his fleet. His hands shook. This was impossible. Humans were supposed to be a simple, developing species. How could they have ships that made Arvani technology look primitive? "What do we do?" his second-in-command asked, voice trembling. Before Gorath could answer, more alarms sounded. All across Earth, things were changing. The simple buildings humans had shown aliens for years were transforming. Hidden sections appeared. Advanced defense systems rose from underground. "Our scans showed quantum-level technology in all their systems," the science officer reported. "Their weapons operate on principles we don't understand." Gorath felt cold fear for the first time in his long life. "Contact the council. Tell them we need immediate assistance." But when they tried to send the message, nothing happened. "Communications are blocked," the officer said. "We can't reach anyone outside this system." On the largest human ship, Admiral Jinha watched the Arvani panic. For centuries, humans had hidden their true nature. Now, it was time for the aliens to see what humanity had become. "Open a channel to their flagship," Jinha ordered. Inside the Arvani ship, Haren moved quickly through the corridors. Aliens were too busy with the crisis to notice her. She found the central control room for the children's holding area. 2 guards stood at the door. Haren had played the role of humble human for so long, but now she could stop pretending. She touched a small device on her wrist. It sent a pulse that made the guards collapse instantly inside the control room. Haren found what she needed: controls for all the chambers holding human children. She began the process to safely wake them from their drugged sleep. A voice came from behind her. "What are you doing, human?" Haran turned to see an Arvani scientist. For a moment she considered keeping her act of being a simple, scared mother. Then she smiled coldly. "Showing you why it was a mistake to take our children." The scientist reached for an alarm button, but Haran moved with shocking speed. She grabbed his arm and twisted it in a way that showed years of combat training. "Your species thinks you're superior," she said, as the alien fell to his knees in pain. "But you forgot something important about humans. Adapt, we learn. And we've been learning about you for 300 years. She knocked the scientist unconscious and returned to the controls. As she worked, she spoke into her hidden communicator. "This is Director Haran. I've accessed the holding chambers. 3,000 children on this level. Most are alive but sedated. Sending building layout now." On the bridge of his flagship, Jinha received Haran's message. He turned to General Quan. "Begin the extraction. Get our children out of there." Quan nodded and spoke into his communicator. "All rescue teams, move in. Priority 1 is recovering the children." Across the human fleet, special ships moved toward the Arvani vessel. Unlike the massive warships, these were smaller and faster. They carried elite soldiers with technology far beyond anything the Arvani had seen. As the human ships approached, the Arvani tried to activate their defense shields. Nothing happened. "Why aren't our shields working?" Gorth demanded. "Something is blocking them," his engineer said in confusion. "It's like they know exactly how our systems work and how to disable them." On the main communication screen, Jinha's face appeared again. This time, he wasn't wearing his simple administrator clothes. He wore the uniform of Earth's true military, a dark suit that seemed to absorb light, symbols of rank that the Arvani had never seen before. Counselor Gorth Jinha said calmly, "For centuries we studied you, while you thought you studied us." "Possible," Gorth whispered. "We would have detected advanced technology." Jinha smiled slightly. "Not if that technology operates on principles you haven't discovered yet. Not if we've built our civilization to hide our true nature." Jinha pressed a button, and screens in the Arvani ship showed images from Earth's history. Hidden facilities being built under mountains, ships tested in pocket dimensions, weapons that could tear apart reality itself. "When your people first came to Earth, we had already reached the stars," Jinha explained. "But we saw how the Council treated new civilizations. So we chose to hide our true selves, showed you what you expected to see, a young, developing world, grateful for your guidance." "Why reveal yourselves now?" Gorth asked, trying to understand. Jinha's face hardened. "Because you threatened our children. That is the one line no species should ever cross with humans." On the lower levels of the Arvani ship, General Quan led a team of 50 soldiers. They moved like shadows through the corridors. Their armor seemed to shift colors to match their surroundings. Their weapons made no sound but could cut through Arvani. Security doors like paper, they found Haran waiting for them at the entrance to the main holding area. 3,000 children inside, she reported. "I've started waking them, but they'll need medical help." Quan nodded. "Our medical teams are right behind us." "Where's your daughter?" "Hidden in our quarters." Level 5, Section C. Quan touched his communicator. Team 2, proceed to Level 5, Section C, priority extraction of Director Haran's daughter. As they entered the holding area, they saw rows of chambers with children inside. Some were starting to wake up, looking confused and scared, Arvani. Security forces arrived, pointing weapons at the human team. "Surrender your weapons." The Arvani commander ordered. Quan didn't even look worried. He pressed a button on his wrist. Every weapon in the Arvani soldier's hands suddenly turned off. "We studied your technology for centuries," Quan said calmly. "Did you think we wouldn't learn how to disable it?" As the Arvani stood in shock, human soldiers moved past them and began helping the children. In orbit around Earth, the Galactic Council's main representatives watched in stunned silence. They had received emergency signals from the Arvani. Ships had arrived to find something impossible, a supposedly primitive planet, revealing technology that surpassed their own. The Council's supreme leader, a tall being named Viller, observed the human fleet with growing concern. How did we miss this? He asked his advisors. How did an entire civilization hide its true nature from us? They studied our scanning technology and built their civilization to avoid detection, an advisor explained. Everything we saw was carefully constructed to appear primitive while hiding their real achievements. On their screens, they watched human ships easily disable Arvani defenses. They saw human soldiers moving through Arvani vessels, as if the security systems weren't even there. We've made a terrible mistake, Veeler said quietly. A communication request came through. When Veeler accepted it, Heron's face appeared on the screen. She stood on the bridge of the largest human ship, now wearing a uniform that marked her as Earth's diplomatic leader. This is Director Heron of Earth Defense Command, she said. For 3 centuries, we observed your council while hiding our true nature. We hope to join your galactic community as equals when the time was right. She stepped aside, showing rows of human children being cared for by medical teams. Instead, we found that you see developing worlds not as future partners, but as resources to exploit. The Arvani took our children for genetic harvesting. They planned to use them to save their dying species. Viller looked shocked. The Council never authorized such actions. Yet you gave the Arvani free rein to do as they wished with Earth, Harn replied. Now you will deal with humanity as we truly are, not as the simple, grateful species you thought we were. The galaxy was seeing humanity's true face for the first time. It was a face that would change everything. The rescue of the children moved quickly. Human ships surrounded the Arvani vessels. Special teams entered each alien ship with ease. The Arvani tried to fight back, but their weapons had little effect against human armor and shields. General Quan led the largest team into the main research section of Gorth's flagship. They found hundreds of children connected to strange machines. Some children were awake and crying. Others were still asleep from alien drugs. Get these children free, Quan ordered his team. Medical units, check each child before moving them. Arvani scientists tried to stop them. You don't understand. This research is vital to save our species. Quan looked at the alien coldly. Not at the cost of our children. The scientist reached for a control panel. Before he could touch it, a soldier beside Quan fired a silent weapon. The alien froze in place, unable to move but still conscious. Weapons can target your nervous system directly, Quan explained. We studied Arvani biology for centuries, while pretending to learn basic science from you. As they freed the children, Quan's team discovered something disturbing. In a separate lab, they found tanks holding small blue bodies, Arvani children. Growing with human DNA mixed into them, they were trying to make hybrid children, a human scientist reported after scanning the tanks. Using our children's genetic material to save their species, Quan looked at the hybrid embryos with mixed feelings, as they were innocent, created without choice in this situation. After a moment, he made a decision. Secure the research. Take the hybrid embryos too. Our doctors will decide what to do with them. On the bridge of Earth's command ship, Admiral Ginha faced the Galactic Council's emergency delegation. The aliens looked small and worried compared to just days ago when they had seemed so powerful. The Arvani acted without council approval, said Viller, the council leader. We did not know they were taking your children for genetic research, yet you gave them authority over Earth, Jinha replied. You let them build facilities on our world without checking their true purpose. We thought your world was primitive. Another council member said, all our scans showed basic technology. Jinha pressed a button. Holographic images showed Earth's hidden facilities, advanced ships, and weapons that operated on principles the council had never seen. For 300 years, we studied you. We learned how your sensors work and built our civilization to hide from them. We developed technology in directions your science never explored. The council members looked at the images in amazement. Pretending to be a young species learning from you, we mapped the galaxy beyond your known territories. We developed weapons that could destroy stars if needed. We built ships that can cross dimensions your science hasn't discovered. Why? Veeler asked. Why hide all this? Because we saw how you treated new civilizations, Jinha said. Not as equals, but as resources. Worlds to be exploited, controlled, or limited if they grew too quickly. Haren joined Jinha, holding her daughter who had been safely rescued. "We would have revealed ourselves peacefully when ready," she said. "But you threatened our children. It is something humans will never accept." In orbit around Earth, humanity's full military power was now visible. Thousands of ships filled the space around the planet. Defense platforms the size of small moons emerged from hiding places in the asteroid belt. Mars revealed massive weapon systems built into its mountains. The council representatives watched in growing horror as they realized how completely they had underestimated this species. "What happens now?" Velor asked. "Will you attack the council worlds?" Jinha shook his head. "We are not conquerors. We never wanted war. We only want to protect our people and live as equals in the galaxy." Haren stepped forward with the data. "Device. These are our terms. Earth will join the Galactic Council not as a developing world, but as a full member with all rights. The Arvani will return all research taken from our children and never approach Earth again." She handed Velor the device. "And most importantly, the Council will change how it treats developing worlds. No more exploitation. No more control. Every new civilization will have the right to develop in its own way." "The Council has existed for millions of years," Velor protested. "You cannot simply change our ways." Janae looked at the alien leader. "We're not asking." To emphasize his point, one of Earth's ships fired a single shot into empty space. The energy beam traveled for 1 second, then hit an asteroid millions of miles away. The massive rock didn't explode. It simply ceased to exist, leaving not even dust behind. The council members fell silent. 1 month later, Earth's cities looked completely different. The hidden technology was now in plain view. Flying vehicles moved between buildings. Energy shields shimmered over major cities. Space elevators connected the ground to orbital stations. The human mask had been fully removed in a large meeting room in what was now openly called Earth Defense Command. Gin, Ha, Harin, and Quan met with representatives from 50 developing worlds. These were planets the Council had been controlling or exploiting, much as they had tried to do with Earth. "For centuries, we hid our true nature to survive," Jinha told them. "Now we offer you our protection while you develop your own path." A reptilian alien from a world called Nara spoke up. "The Council takes our resources and tells us it's for our own good. They limit our technology and say we're not ready for advancement. That ends today," Haren said. "Earth now sits on the Council as a full member. We have established new laws protecting developing worlds. You will control your own resources and develop at your own pace. And if the Council tries to stop us?" asked another alien. General Quan smiled slightly. "Then they deal with Earth." In the medical center, Minji and the other children were recovering well. The alien drugs were leaving their systems. The wounds from testing were healing. Haren sat beside her daughter's bed, reading her a story. Minji looked up at her. "Mother, were you scared when you were on the alien ship, Mom?" she asked. Haren thought about how to answer. She had been terrified for her daughter, but couldn't show it while maintaining her cover. "Yes," she said honestly. "But I knew humans are stronger than the aliens thought. We always have been." Minji nodded. "The aliens thought we were weak because we didn't show them everything we could do. Sometimes the strongest people don't need to show their strength until it matters," Haren explained. "Humans learn too. Be patient to watch and wait. But when someone threatens our children, then we show them who we really are." Minji finished. Admiral Ginha stood at the window of his office. Now on the 100th floor of Earth Defense Command's public headquarters, no more hiding underground. No more pretending to be less than they were. Below, he could see the city where humans and friendly alien visitors walked together. Above, he watched human ships freely moving through space, no longer hiding their true capabilities. The galaxy had learned an important lesson. Appearances can be deceiving. Species might seem young and primitive, but harbor strength beyond imagination. Nothing in the universe was more dangerous than humans protecting their children. Humanity had played dumb for centuries. Now the galaxy would never forget their true face.